In this lection, I want to give you an update to the course because everybody in the AI industry is talking about the new powerful AI model called Flux. And what we see from Flux is absolutely stunning and amazing. The results speak for themselves. So I think it makes total sense that we also include a tutorial about using Flux here in the course. And this is what I just did. Just keep in mind that also Flux is not perfect, and regarding certain things, I think Stable Diffusion and especially Focus is still better, especially the in-painting, as you will see in the tutorial. But nevertheless, I was also looking for an easy and cheap way to use Flux, and I think I found the perfect method, and this method I will show you in this lection. Keep in mind that you can still use all the processes I showed you regarding Stable Diffusion, TensorAlgorithm, and so on. But with that extra lection, you will also see how you can use Flux. And together, combined, I think you have more tools to generate perfect and nice looking AI influencers. For myself, I was also a little bit confused in the beginning of Flux because I saw you have to work with a very powerful hardware and you need to work with Confi UI, which in my opinion is very confusing and I don't like it. So I was looking for an easy way, and that's why I discovered Replicate. And in this tutorial, I will show you how you can use Replicate to access Flux and then generate images super easy, and the best, you don't even need a description, but more on that in the tutorial. With that being said, let's jump to my screen and have a look how we can generate amazing AI images using Flux. Good introduction to Flux, an easy and cheap way using Replicate. And before we dive into the details about what is Flux, what is Replicate, how does it work, I think images say more than 1,000 words. So let's go over to the website of Black Forest Labs, the creators of Flux, and check out what Flux can actually do for us. Good, we are now at the website of Black Forest Labs, the creators of that fantastic AI model that also come from Germany, like I. So I'm quite proud to show you this German AI model. And as you can see, it's absolutely fantastic what you can do with that model. Especially the realism is absolutely fantastic and impressive. If you look at that image, you couldn't tell that it's AI generated. Also down here, we have these nice realistic looking party shots that could be taken with an iPhone. And as you can see, the anatomy of these fingers, hands, faces looks absolutely stunning. Of course, we can also do artsy stuff like these images here. This could be like a commercial image, and beautiful landscapes, also art, comic style. There are no limits, but I think especially this hyper realism is absolutely fantastic and unique to Flux, and this is also what called my attention and the reason why I wanted to learn how to use Flux. Good, so just a few bullet points to give you some more information. Flux is a next generation AI model that creates super realistic AI images, as you just saw on the website of Black Forest Labs. And it's a text to image model, so you can use text and then it will create an image as you know it, for example, also from Stable Diffusion. What makes it special? First, it's amazing in creating all these tricky details like drawing human hands, and most AI models have problems with that, especially Stable Diffusion, SDXL, SD1.5. We all know these problems regarding hands, and in Flux this is way better, I can promise you that. And secondly, it uses a cutting edge design to make the images both faster to generate and insanely detailed, as you just saw on the website. And there are different versions of Flux for different needs: a pro version for professionals, a developer version for hobbyists, and a speedy version for quick projects or people who don't have time at all. And what is now Replicate, and why will we use Replicate to access Flux? I already told you at the beginning of the tutorial that I was looking for a way to access Flux easy, fast, and without a special hardware, because I just own a standard Acer laptop that cost me, I don't know, 250, 300 euros. So this is not a powerful computer, but I still wanted to access Flux. And this is where Replicate comes into the play, because the platform Replicate lets you use many AI models such as Flux on their cloud services, and that without needing a high-end computer or a fancy graphic cards like an Nvidia graphic card. Whenever I hear Nvidia or stuff like that, I already skip that in my head, but with Replicate this is totally possible. And all the heavy lifting is done in the cloud, and so you can generate amazing AI images from any device, even a tablet, if you use Replicate. And the best part, there's no monthly subscription, you only pay what you actually use. So every generation process has a little price, but we will come to that later, and you will see it's super easy. But I really like this fact that we don't need a subscription here. Good. In a minute, we will go over live to my screen. We will go to Replicate and then we will use Flux. But before, I want to show you what Flux models are actually existing and what are the differences between them. So first, I want to talk about the models for creation, because there are also models we can use to change or edit our images. But first, the creation. And as you can see, there are 3 layers of that, and at the top layer we have the best and newest models, the Flux Pro, Flux 1.1 Pro, and the Flux 1.1 Pro Ultra. That sounds super sophisticated, but it's just the best model. And as you can see, an image costs you between 0.04 and 0.06 per image, more or less. So you can create 16 to 25 images per dollar, which is not too expensive. And I really like that approach, that I just pay per image, but more on that later. In the middle, we have the cheaper all-rounder, the developer model of Flux, and this only costs 0.025 per image. So you get 40 images for a dollar, which is even better. And then we have the fastest model, the Flux Schnell model, and Schnell means fast in German. So the name already says it, it's faster, and the quality is obviously a little bit less, but you only pay 0.003 dollars per image, so you can generate 333 images for $1, and this is just fantastic in my opinion. Good, these are the models for creation, and then, as I already told you, we also have the models for changing details, and these models are presented here. On the first layer we have Fill Pro and Fill Depth. So these models are used for in-painting and out-painting. So whenever you want to change something within the image or you want to extend the image, then you use one of these 2 models, and the Pro is the better one, the Depth is a little bit cheaper one. And then down here we have a bunch of other models and variations, and in this video I don't want to talk about these, but these models also gives you the opportunity to do variations using different mechanisms. For example, this depth model, very difficult to pronounce for me as a German, gives you the possibility to access the depth of an image, and the Kenny model is good in accessing the structure of an image and then replicating that image, but more on that in other videos. Today I want to focus on the creation of AI images and using in-painting and out-painting. If you're interested now in having more information about all these models and how they function, I can recommend you to go to the website of Black Forest Labs and check out their blog posts. Because when you go to the website, you see you have a lot of information, how the models work and what are the differences. Also regarding these depth and control models, this is quite plastic and illustrated here, and it's easier for you to understand how the models actually work. So this is a great source of further information if you want to dive deeper into the understanding and the differences between all these models. But as I told you, now we start with actually creating images using Flux. Good, now we are at the starting screen or the dashboard of Replicate. And as you can see, I'm already logged in, and you see here my recently viewed models, which are the Flux models, and some more information. But when you're new to Replicate, the first thing you do is you create an account. And to be able to do that, you have to have a Hugging Face account. So go over to Hugging Face, which is a huge AI community, and you just create an account there completely for free. And when you have that account, you go to Replicate, and when you log in, you will be asked for your Hugging Face account. And then you can just sign up with your Hugging Face account. And when you did that, you come to exactly that dashboard. Maybe it looks different because you haven't used anything yet, but this is then the dashboard. And as you can see, we have different things up here. For example, the models, if you already trained models. I, for example, already trained a model for an AI influencer of mine. Then we have predictions. These are the images I recently created. We can, for example, click on the last image I created. What was it? Yeah, it was a party girl, one of my AI influencers. And yeah, then we go back. We have trainings here. This is, as I said, when you already trained AI models, you see them here, but more on that in other videos and many other things. But for now, this is all you have to know, because of course we can do a lot of things here, but in this tutorial, I want to keep it simple so you understand how to use Flux as fast and easy as possible. Good, before we can actually generate images with Flux, there's one more thing you have to do. You click onto your account settings, and then on billing. And I already inserted my bank details or a payment method, and you have to do that first to be able to use Replicate. And yeah, just type in your credit card details, but no worries. There's a possibility to cut your spending limit. This is by scrolling down. You have this section here, spend limit, and here you can enter any amount of dollar, which would be your monthly spending limit. And I, for example, selected $30, but you can select whatever you want. And as I told you earlier, here on Replicate, you just pay for every image you created. So it can be a little bit confusing. And to make sure you don't spend more than you actually want to spend, you can set a limit here. And for example, if you reach your limit and then you decide you want to create more images, you can just increase your limit. So no problem at all. Good. And when you inserted your banking details, you're ready to go. And we can go to the dashboard, and now we can start generating images. Good. As we want to generate images using Flux, the first thing we do is we go up here to the search box, and then we type Flux here. And then you have this button here saying the Flux family of models. And when you click on that button, you see all the models available of Flux. So these are basically the models you just saw in my presentation. And as you can see down here, there are a lot of runs. So many people are already using these models. For example, here the Black Forest Labs Flux 1.1 Pro Ultra model has 1.2 million runs. This one here has 5.4 million runs. So quite a lot of people are using that. And the Schnell model even has 141 million runs. So yeah, we Germans like Schnell things, so maybe this is why, but just a joke at that point. Good. I think we should work with the best of the best, the Black Forest Labs Flux 1.1 Pro Ultra model. Good. We click on it, and now we're actually ready to go. We can use the model, and as you can see up here, we have some information. For example, one image costs us $0.06 per image, so 6 cents, basically not much. And we also have a commercial use here, so we could actually sell these images, which is a great thing. And many other stuff here like API, a README. We have also the possibility to access a Python code here and so on, but this is not of importance. You will see it's super easy. Then we have this example here, which was created with the model. And here in the prompt box, we can just type in a prompt to test it out. And I already prepared some nice prompts so we can play around with it. Here I prepared 4 different prompts, and we start with this first one of a Colombian man wearing a black leather jacket. So we go over and I just paste this prompt here. And as you can see here, we could also use an image prompt. So an image as an example to create a similar image, but in that case, we just use the text prompt. Good. Then we leave this as it is, the image prompt strength, and we select the aspect ratio. I really like the 2:3 aspect ratio, which is like a vertical portrait. This is really nice. And then we have another very important parameter, the safety tolerance. In my opinion, especially if you want to create girls or influencers, you have to crank that up to 6, because otherwise you constantly get a not safe for work warning. And if you want to make sure your images are safe for work, of course you can go down to 2 or 1, but be prepared that, for example, if you want to create a bikini girl or something, it maybe won't work. So I just always leave it at 6 because I have no problem with that. And by setting this parameter to 6, I can do whatever I want, basically. Good. Then we have the seed down here. This is not important at the beginning. If you leave it empty, this is the default, you get random images. And whenever you create an image, you get also a seed number. And if you want to recreate that image or a similar image, then you have to work with that seed number, because if you use the same seed number and the same prompt, you get the same image, same seed number, and a slightly different prompt, you get a very similar image. So this is also useful if you want to create an AI influencer or constant character, but for now, we leave it empty. Good. And then there's another very important feature, the raw mode. And this raw mode is highly recommended if you want to create realistic images. I tested it out and I definitely like the raw mode and I can recommend it. So the images look more raw, as the word already says, and not so artificial. Good. The output format is basically the file. We can use PNG or JPEG. I just go with JPEG, and that's basically it. As you can see down here, we have some pricing information, some examples, and also some more information. But for now, we can just generate our image. And if you want, you can check it out later. So we click on Run. And as you can see, it's actually quite fast. It just takes a couple of seconds until we get our image, hopefully. And so I always have to smile a little bit if they tell the fast model, the schnell model, because I think 8 seconds is nothing. But of course, if you're very busy, then even that is long. Good. Now we have our biker, our Colombian biker. And as you can see, this is a fantastic image. I think Flux did an awesome job here. I really like also the Yamaha logos here. And this is also a specialty of Flux, that Flux is able to generate text very good. So also the logos and the Yamaha letters look really, really nice. And I think Flux did an amazing job here. And if we zoom in, you can see that this looks like a real photo. This is absolutely fantastic and impressive. Of course, we have 2 badges here, which is a little bit strange, but we could easily just delete one of the badges using InPaint, no problem at all. But I think as a first try, you see, this is very, very powerful. Good, then we go back and now we just test another prompt. I prepared already some, and in the next example, we create a nice tiger in the middle of the jungle. So I pasted my prompt, and everything else, we just leave it as it is, and then we hit generate, and now hopefully we get an awesome image of a dangerous tiger. Let's see. Wow, our tiger is ready, and I don't know what you guys think, but this is absolutely spectacular. Look at this tiger. It's like a real photo. It's absolutely incredible, and I'm just amazed and stunned by this power of that model. So absolutely fantastic. Good, we do one more thing, and now I want to show you how you can create variations of a very similar image. This is important if you want to create an AI influencer, for example. And I prepared a beautiful Italian girl posing in nice underwear in a hotel. So this is the classic of an influencer image. We paste that prompt here. And now maybe we get a not safe for work warning and we just have to change things, but we will see. We will see. I cranked up the safety tolerance to 6 and I already tested out that prompt earlier, but we will see if we get an image or not. In case you get a not safe for work warning, you can always just change the prompt a little bit or work with a different seed number. But as you can see, it worked, and wow, I'm also amazed by that image. Look how beautiful it is. And when we zoom in, this looks like a real photo. Absolutely spectacular. And also the hands look quite good. This finger is a little bit weird, but this is nothing in comparison with the bad hands we know from STXL. And now I want to show you one more trick. As I told you, if you want to create a constant character or at least a very similar image, you have to work with the seed number. And down here, you see this little number, and this is the seed number. So we make a copy of that and we paste it here in that seed number field. And then we change our prompt a little bit to get a very similar result. For example, I could say, I want her to be wearing red lace lingerie. Let's check that out. And sometimes just changing the color can also get you a different result and then a not safe for work warning. I just want to prepare you for that, but then you just have to play around a little bit. But this time it worked. And also this girl looks absolutely fantastic. If you look at the hands, we have 5 fingers. They are not destroyed and the girl looks absolutely fantastic. If we compare the two images, you see the girl is almost the same, very, very similar. And like that, if you use the same seed number, you can generate very similar looking characters. Keep in mind that if you play that game with the seed number and you change the prompt too much, for example, if I right now standing in a trekking outfit on top of a mountain, this can also change the look of the girl a little bit, because the more you change the prompt, even if you have the same seed number, the girl also will look a little bit different. But it's always a good idea if you want to generate very similar images. Like I could generate like 20 images in different underwears. Maybe I make an image like that in a hotel room and then I can all post them. So this is a very good idea if you want to create similar scenes. And at the end of the day, we still can do a face swap later and to make our girl look even more similar. Now it's time to talk about in painting using Replicate and Flux, because this is also very important that we have the opportunity to change things within our images, and you can also do that on Replicate using Flux models. And to do that, the first thing you need to do is you type in here Flux, you go back to the model family, and then we have to look out for the fill model. Where is it? Here. We have the fill depth model and we also have a fill pro model, but I just have to find it. Where is it? Here, fill pro. I want to work with that one. And as you can see, this costs us also 5 cents per image. We have the commercial use, so all good. And now the goal is to change something within an existing image. And as you can see, you also have a little example here. For example, in this image here, they changed Kill Bill to Flux Fill, which is amazing. And you can do that just with a prompt and uploading this Kill Bill poster. And normally, if you would use Stable Diffusion STXL, this would be impossible because STXL was really, really bad with text. But as you can see, Flux does an amazing job. And now I want to go back to the first image we created, our biker guy, and I want to draw a base cap on his head. And we will do that using the in-painting model of Flux. So the first thing we do is we delete that. and we just type here a red base cap. Good. And then we delete this example image here, and I have to upload our biker boy. This guy here, I upload him, and now there's a specialty, because normally we know the in-painting models, for example, in Focus, that we can just draw here on top. And now we have to work with the mask. But this is also super easy, and I will show you how to do it. So we have to create something like that, a mask showing us which areas we want to change. So the white areas are changed and the black areas stay the same. And now we have to do the same here with our biker guy. So I would just make a white area up here and the rest black, so that we can change the top of his head. And to do that, we will open exactly that image in an image manipulation program called GIMP. Keep in mind that you can use any other image program to do that, and it's actually super easy, so no worries. And this don't has to be very specific. You don't need Photoshop or anything. You see, it's super easy. I use GIMP, it's for free. And with that lasso tool, I can just mark an area like that, where the base cap would be placed. And I'm not sure how big the base cap will be, but yeah, just we try something like that. And then I can just take this white area over, fill it, and then I go to select, invert, and now all the other parts are selected and I can paint it black. That's it. Then I go to File, Export As, and we call that thing mask. Export, and then I'm asked how much quality. Of course, 100%. That's it. Now our mask is ready, and we can go back to our Flux in-painting model. And down here, we have to delete this example mask, and we upload our new mask. Good. And now this area here will be changed. So basically that area, and the black field here stays the same, so that our biker boy stays the same. Good. We don't work with the seed number steps. We use 50 steps. So if you lower that, it's faster, but you get worse results. Also, all the rest, we leave it as it is. Safety tolerance, I think in that case doesn't matter, but in case you want to create a spicy image, just make sure to crank it up to 6. But for our biker boy dressed in the motorcycle shop, we should be fine with 2. And we go with a JPEG, and then we can just hit run, and hopefully we get a nice base cap on top of our biker boy. But let's wait. All right, we have our biker boy, and this time Flux didn't do a great job. He has just a little bit red hair, but we will give it another try. I would just create a mask that is going down a little bit more, and then we will also change our prompt a little bit to see if we can in-paint our base cap. So I go back here to our mask, and then I will just lower that here a little bit more, something like that. And I complete it, we fill it with white, and then I export that so I can overwrite the existing mask image. We go back, and then I upload again our mask. And now I will type here a red base cap on top of a man. What else could we try? Yeah, a base cap. Yeah, maybe it helps if we just type it in more often. And what we can also do is we can create more images. I think we have the possibility down here to do that. Actually, we haven't. Yeah, so let's just give it another try, and let's see if we get our base cap. Good, finally we have our base cap. Let's check it out. And I gotta admit, this looks a little bit ridiculous, but at the end of the day, it's a red base cap. But yeah, in my opinion, I already did some tests using in-painting with Flux. The in-painting is not so good at that point. I would do the in-painting in focus using stable diffusion, and I already tried that, and it's super easy. It works perfectly. And I think it's very powerful to combine Flux for generating the images and doing the in-painting and editing with focus. But you see, like that, you can also do in-painting and change things within an existing image. Good, that's it for the lecture. I hope with that update, you have a good starting point in the Flux world, and you can now combine also Flux into your workflows to generate amazing AI influencers. As you saw in the lection, the in-painting is still not the best, especially if you use replicate. And therefore, I highly recommend you to do the in-painting and the changing of the images still with focus, because this works absolutely perfect and fantastic. Also, the face swap with Discord and the face swap with focus is still, in my opinion, the best way to do it. But combining, for example, Flux for the body image and then Discord and focus for the face swap and the editing, this is a very powerful combination, and I can highly recommend you to test it out.